Hello everyone, batching into today's third video. We're doing Ensembles Watch for today's third video. So we're going to go through all members of the GFS Ensembles, including the operational run. And we're going to see what the GFS Ensembles are showing for the weather going into the second half of February. So I'll get on that very shortly. Just say that the first video released today was the 5th update for spring. That's 5th analogs update for spring 2020, and of course Gaz obviously roundup, which did have all of the information about Storm Kira, and the worst of that storm will be clearing away now from southeastern parts of the country, if it hasn't yet, very shortly. But I can say pretty windy, you can say quite unsettled over the next few days as well, and it will turn colder. It can turn colder, so there could be some snow up in the north, because we did snow watch last night, looking at the snow potential in the next few days. So anyway, check out all the videos when you're done with this one, but to finish us off this Sunday evening, we're doing Ensembles Watch. So we're at westend.d. We're going to go through all members of the GFS Ensembles in a moment. We're going to start with the operational GFS run, midday run. So this is starting today. And of course, there is the storm that's been bringing so much in way of wind and rain across the country today. That's Storm Kira to the north of Scotland, and it's been a very, very nasty day indeed. That low pressure is clearing away. We'll be heading off up towards Norway through the course of this evening, but you see it's staying windy even into into the coming days. We're going to have further northwesterly winds continuing, and they're quite cold winds as well, with the air coming out of Canada, so there's definitely some wintry potential with the showers coming in with these northwesterly winds in the next few days. That's Thursday, and we've got a little area of low pressure rain coming in across the UK on Thursday. That's going to be quite cold air, so we need to see what's happening with that. Rain or snow over high ground could be possible on Thursday. And then into the end of next week, so this is Friday 14th, we've got the next low pressure rattling in from off the Atlantic. That's bringing about wet and windy weather, and also starting to pull up some milder air from the middle of the Atlantic as well. And it just continues to be very, very unsettled here with the GFS operational run as we go through into more extended range. So we're up to the end of next weekend, and we're still in what looks like a very unsettled westerly type flow with low pressure well and truly in control, and we head up towards day 10, and that's how we're looking. So still westerlies continue up to day 10, which is the 19th of February with the GFS operational run, and even to extended range, which takes us kind of to the last week of February, we're still pulling in the westerly winds, so no change up to as far as we can go, which is Tuesday 25th of February. We're still in a westerly type pattern with tonight's GFS operational run. Right, so that's how the operational's looking. Let's have a look at all ensemble members then. We're going to start with the GFS control run. So this run is at a slightly lower resolution compared to the operational, but a higher resolution compared to all other ensemble members. Looking and starting next weekend, looks very unsettled. High pressure is to our south, across Spain and Portugal, much of the Med. Low pressure to the north. It's been the pattern of winter, and we're looking unsettled there with the GFS control run. As we move through, head up towards day 10. Of course, we're assuming with this that the pattern up to like next weekend is sort of in place, and so we're starting this at next weekend. As we get to day 10, which is the 19th of February, yes, still westerly, high pressure just down to our southwest, low pressure is up to the north. As we run into more extended range with the GFS control run, we keep the broad pattern going. You'll see high pressure there is across much of Central and Western Europe. Low pressure continues to be to the north of the country. That's how we finish up with the GFS control run still in the westerlies up to the 25th of February. So the GFS operational and control runs are more or less singing from the same hymn sheet. Right, let's look at the ensemble members then. So this ensemble member number 1, starting next Sunday in a very mild southwesterly wind, looking quite unsettled, probably rain, particularly in the north and the west of the country. As we move through, we see that winds remain from the west as we get to day 10, which is the 19th of February. Low pressure continues to power in from off the Atlantic. Then high pressure needs to build up from the south a little bit more, so that's settling us down. We're turning mainly dry, but it would be quite mild with that. The air is still coming in from the southwest. Eventually, by the very end of ensemble member number 1, we're going back into a more unsettled westerly flow again. Ensemble member number 2 looks unsettled next weekend with strong winds and southwesterlies as well. Moving up towards day 10, we find that we pull in a rather cooler northwesterly flow with ensemble member number 2 as we get towards day 10. But it's not particularly cold. There's no high latitude blocking to support any notably cold weather with that. And then as we move into more extended range with ensemble member number 2, we find that again low pressure just rolls in over the top of the ridge, so it's all remaining Atlantic driven and quite westerly with ensemble member number 2. This is ensemble member number 3, and we can see that with ensemble member number 3, we have got again west southwesterlies for next weekend, for Sunday, and then so it looks mild, it looks unsettled with winds driving in from off the Atlantic. And as we're moving to more extended range, heading up towards day 10, we keep winds in from the southwest as well with ensemble member number 3, so no sort of change, no deviation as we get up towards day 10. Mouth-Sover is running a little bit slow tonight. And then as you get towards kind of 21st, 22nd of February, then high pressure begins to build up from the south. So that's turning us drier, possibly a little bit colder with that, maybe some frost at night. But again, it's not deep Arctic or Siberian cold. It will just be surface level cold under the ridge of high pressure. It's all still moving in, excuse me, the jet stream and weather is still all generally moving in from the west with ensemble member number 3. Ensemble member number 4 is looking perhaps a little bit cooler and more unsettled for next weekend. This is Sunday next week. So, yes, perhaps a bit more of a west-northwesterly. It looks quite stormy, actually, with ensemble member number 16. If we can run through to the more extended range, we can find that going up towards day 10, again, we've got, excuse me, again, the voice is giving out a little bit tonight. We've got winds coming in from a westerly direction, and overall we continue to look relatively Atlantic driven. Heading up towards the more extended range with ensemble member number 4, we've got the winds continuing to blow from westerly direction with high pressure to our south, low pressure is to the north, and there we are, we get to 25th of February. As far as we can go with ensemble member number 4, no change, we're still in that Atlantic driven pattern with this ensemble member. Going through to ensemble member number 5, which seems to be running very, very slow tonight, so I may have to give up on this. We'll see how we get on. Ensemble member number 5, again, is showing westerly winds around the 18th of February, heading up towards day 10. So we're looking, high pressure begins to build up from the south. So this is a bit of a trend, I suppose, as we get to around day 10, the higher pressure to start to build up from the south. But overall, quite westerly, quite Atlantic driven up to then, and then moving into the more extended range, heading up towards sort of 22nd, 21st, 23rd of February. Again, high pressure is just to our west and to our southwest as well. Building through the country, bringing mainly dry weather, reasonably mild. I suppose nights could be a bit on the cold side. We finish up on ensemble member number 5 back in those west or southwesterly winds once again. Ensemble member number 6, again, is westerly and Atlantic driven for Sunday, so looking unsettled next Sunday, moving through to the 18th of February. That's how we're looking, generally quite westerly. Winds continue to be coming in from the west with that one heading on into the 20th of February. Again, we're looking westerly, high pressure to our southwest, low pressure to our northwest. And so it goes on. We see that again, we've got winds coming in from a westerly direction there on the 23rd of February. The Atlantic goes on and get to 25th of February, and we're still driving in low pressure from off the Atlantic with ensemble member number 6. Let's go back to 168 hours and go to ensemble member number 7. if we can do that. As I say, we're running quite slow with West Central tonight, having some problems with website. Not sure why that will be the case, but we're at Ensemble member number 7, and the winds are still coming in from west-southwest next Sunday, looking quite unsettled. We go through to the period of the 18th of February. Still, high pressure is just to our south-southwest, low pressure is up to the north, heading to day 10. That's how we're looking. High pressure increasingly building then around day 10. That is a bit of a trend in these ensemble members. High pressure is still in control then as we move to the extended range, heading in towards the final week of February, with high pressure dominating. So it could bring some frosty nights, probably relatively mild, maybe quite spring-like days, but there could be some frosty nights in with that one. Then we go through to ensemble member number 8, if we can flip that over. There we go. So we're in a west-northwesterly with ensemble member number 8, and we're bringing in quite a strong west or northwesterly wind as well. As we head up towards day 10, again we're flat westerly, so the Atlantic dominates up to day 10, which is the 19th of February. Into more extended range, that's how we look as we get beyond day 10, so low pressure continues to drive in from off the Atlantic. No sign of any high latitude blocking. We just continue to have rather flat westerly winds with ensemble member number 8, until eventually we start to pull down something a little bit colder from north right at the very end of the 25th of February. Looks like it might be starting to speed up a little bit now, so hopefully we can get through these ensembles a little bit quicker. This ensemble member number 16, ensemble member number 9, I should say, on the 16th of February. High pressure to our south, low pressure to our north next weekend. We go up towards day 10, and we find that the weather stays pretty flat. That's the 18th of February. So again, got low pressure to north, high pressure to south. Up to day 10, which is 19th of February. Low pressure is still driving in from the Atlantic. High pressure is to the south, low pressure to the north. And then the ridge looks like it's starting to build there with ensemble member number 9 as well as we head towards the final week of February. That's how we finish up this ensemble member. So somewhere between high pressure and low pressure. Is not particularly settled or unsettled then. Maybe just raising the heights a little bit up towards Iceland, but overall things are still coming in from off the Atlantic. Ensemble member number 10, mild and southwesterly for next weekend, moving up towards day 10. We find that, again, we stay flat, we keep westerly winds going up to day 10. The ridge begins to build in from southwest around day 10, turns us a little bit drier. Could be night frost associated with that, but not particularly cold air mass really with that high pressure. Then the high pressure begins to slip away towards the east, and you see it's all just coming in from off the Atlantic. There's no sign of anything northerly or easterly here so far of any of these ensemble members really. Everything is still moving in from off the Atlantic. This one finishes up on the 25th of February. Somewhere again close to high pressure, could be some night frost, but not a particularly cold situation with that one. Ensemble member number 11 is westerly and perhaps a little bit more unsettled than some ensemble members for next weekend. That could be a little bit on the stormy side. 18th of February, 216 hours, keeps us in sort of a westerly type flow. Up to day 10, high pressure starts to ridge in from the southwest. It has a gut ridging in from the southwest anyway. But we continue to keep everything driving in from off the Atlantic until we get towards the extended range. It looks like this one is trying to pull down a bit more of a northerly, but even then it's pretty half-hearted, it's pretty flimsy. Just going a little bit cooler there with ensemble member number 11 late on. Ensemble member number 12, westerly and Atlantic driven for next weekend, and then we get to the period moving up towards day 10, and that's how we're looking, still keeping things pretty flat, still keeping things westerly. Up to day 10, the Atlantic is still driving in. Beyond day 10, heading into the extended range, we start to have a go at building some high pressure out to the west of us. Just there, but still, it's pretty flat, it's pretty westerly, not particularly cold with that one either. Ensemble member number 13, looking unsettled next weekend. Beyond that, heading up towards day 10, we're westerly, northwesterly, quite mild up to day 10. High pressure beginning to build in from the southwest, doesn't quite make it though. Low pressure continues to roll in over top, though it does turn a bit milder down across southern parts of the country. That's a very mild ensemble member as we head towards the closing days of February. Maybe hints of a bit of a northwesterly there by the 25th of February. Ensemble member number 14 is westerly and Atlantic driven for next weekend, as are all ensemble members seemingly. Moving up towards day 10, that's how we're looking. So we get to day 10 and we stay flat. 19th February has high pressure over France, low pressure up towards Greenland, Iceland. It's all still coming in from off the Atlantic. Into the more extended range again, low pressure is continuing to be to our north, high pressure to our south, southwest. That's 25th of February, winter winding down, of course, by this point. Meteorological winter anyway, winding down by this point, and we're still in those westerly winds. Ensemble member number 15 with an unsettled weekend next weekend. Maybe a little bit stormy there around the 17th of February. Going towards day 10, high pressure remains to our south, low pressure remains to our north. These ensembles aren't great for anyone who wants cold weather, I have to say. This one's doing something a bit colder, though, right at the very extended range. It's 23rd of February, high pressure then pulls out to our west. Winds are beginning to turn into the north. This does have a little bit of a cold snap from the north. It's not going to last long. That high's going to topple, but it does have a slight cold snap there sometime around the 22nd, 23rd of February. Ensemble member number 16 is wet, windy and unsettled for next weekend. Moving up towards day 10, we find that again it's all coming in from off the Atlantic, high pressure just to our southwest, low pressure to our northwest, and so it goes on into the extended range. No change except high pressure builds up from the south a little bit, so probably turns us slightly colder from frost, but not from Arctic or sort of not snowy cold. And then we've got ensemble member number 17, westerly, next weekend, Atlantic driven. That goes on up to day 10 as well. High pressure to the southwest, low pressure to the northwest. The high then builds up from the south a little bit as we move into the more extended range, heading into the last week of February. We're under high pressure, so there could be night frost, maybe some fog with that, but days would probably be quite mild and spring-like, to be honest. Ensemble member number 18, unsettled next weekend. That's a little bit colder for next weekend, but not for long. Southwesterly winds are back in business. And head up towards day 10, we keep high pressure to the south, low pressure to the north. Everything's flat coming in off the Atlantic Ocean. And this goes on into the extended range with ensemble member number 18 as well. Low pressure continues to keep us in a westerly regime. Ensemble member number 19, penultimately, shows quite an unsettled weekend next weekend, and beyond that, moving up towards day 10, yes, you've guessed it, we keep winds in from the Atlantic up to day 10, with further low pressure close to the country. Heading to the extended range, again, high pressure is to the south, around France, Germany, that sort of area. Low pressure is up towards Greenland, Iceland. It's all coming in off the Atlantic with that one. And then finally, we've got ensemble member number 20. That looks quite stormy for next Sunday. There's a possibility of some severe gales next weekend. Again, probably not as bad as this weekend has been, but nevertheless, there's a chance of something really quite stormy next weekend. Beyond that, up to day 10, so low pressure continues to drive in from the Atlantic for ensemble member number 20, moving into towards the last week of February, and no real changes to the broad setup, which is low pressure remains to the north, high pressure remains to the south, and winds remain off the Atlantic Ocean. That is a terrible, terrible set of ensembles for anybody who wants something cold from the north and the east, because there is barely a sniff of it in any of those ensemble members. The last thing we can show you to look at is going to be the graph for the upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. The last place we looked at on West Central was Lincoln. So that's how the graph looks tonight. So we are going to get a little bit of a cold snap in the next 2 or 3 days. That's coming out of Canada and Greenland on those west-northwesterly winds. By the end of this coming week, temperatures have lifted back up. It becomes mild or very mild again at the end of the week and into next weekend. After that, a little bit of a dip in temperature taking place there around the 20th, 21st of February, and then the upper air temperatures are lifting up again. Unsettled in the next week to 10 days, plenty of rain to come. Beyond that, heading towards the last week of February, possibly going a little bit drier. So there is the possibility there of building up some higher pressure from the south as we get through into towards the last week of February, which may give us some frost and fog by night, but with the sun getting rapidly warmer now by day, that could well give us some pretty mild spring-like days with temperatures certainly into double digits anyway in the February sunshine. There's certainly no sign of anything notably cold from the north and east. It's not a sniff of it really with any of those ensemble members. So the wait for true winter keeps going, and of course we will soon be running out of this winter because we are winding down the clock very quickly on mid-tropical winter anyway, although March and April can deliver pretty cold and wintry conditions at times. Right, that's it for your videos for the weekend. Hope you enjoyed them all. Please like the videos if you have enjoyed what we've given you this weekend, and let us know in the comments that you've enjoyed it as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the Gazov's YouTube channel and see more content like this very, very soon. Tomorrow we're going to have a week to 10-day video update, so come back for that then. That's all for now though, and thanks for watching.